Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning. You could be in Asia or Australia, New Zealand. So, yeah, the title of the live stream is "The End Game for 2020 Crisis is Economic Dependency." Hopefully, it won't be. Hopefully, the crisis will be sorted out in a way that helps the general public and not just the people who have all the wealth, like the bankers, the 1%, right? But I think that's what they want to do. Yeah, we've got quite a few people here. Knows here. Hi, No. Padenda is here. Hi, Padenda. Yeah, Billy's just come down for his Sunday job. Grow Mechanic, Bowman, Bob Roast from Amsterdam, Johnny OC. Are we still worried about keeping cash in high street bank accounts? I try to keep as little as possible, especially if you have over the insured amount. And even if you do not have over the insured amount, I'd rather not keep. Again, I would just keep enough to pay my monthly bills. You're seeing how all national currencies are losing loads of value versus uh, real money, gold and silver, of course. Good evening, Polo. So we've got already 137, 45 thumbs up. AG says gold standard 2020. I'm not sure about that. The best thing would be to have no central banks and to have a free market in money. And probably people would use gold and silver, real gold and silver. I think we have to get away from paper currencies and from central banks and from governments having so much control of banking. I'm doing a series of videos on the weekends now. I did the first one last Saturday about paper money, paper against gold. It's a series of letters from William Cobbett. He's a really interesting guy, English guy from the early 1800s. He writes about the Bank of England, about paper money. I did a second one earlier today, and it just shows how much of a flawed system that only helps a few people. The system that we have is a system based on paper money, on the national debt, on taxation. We need to get away from that. So, a gold standard under the current system of banking and government, it would help things, but in the long term, the same thing would happen again that is happening now. We really need to get rid of central banking, I think, and the national debts. And the thing that they do with central banking is that it allows the bankers and the very wealthy to lend money and mortgage your future, your children's future, through taxation and through inflation. Michael Jensen from Denmark. Hi, Michael. Golden Gate from San Francisco. Lloyd Morgan from Worcester in the UK. Cupid Stunt. Everyone, greetings from Warrington. Yeah, I wasn't on last Sunday. We went out to a friend's place. It was really nice. It's good to take some time off once in a while. Arthur Quinn from Massachusetts. Yeah, Pace Arrow. Yeah, those letters are really great. I've done the first two. There's loads. I'm doing next week. We'll do letter number 3. Golden Gate. Just listen to Alan Meyer's interview. Please explain if the Fed is a front for the banks. Why are they being warned of bank failures? Well, really, the big daddy for the Fed is really the New York Fed and the big Wall Street banks. They don't care about the little banks, even though they might be member banks of the Fed. There are banks that not all banks are member banks. So yeah, they will not save the small fish. But yeah, like Alan said, the Fed is controlled by the bankers. Yeah. That's right. Tom Jode. Hi, Tom. Privateer. So, just a little bit on the title of the live stream. Yeah, I think that's the agenda of the globalists. They want to make everyone dependent. Not everyone, but a huge chunk of the population dependent. I think these paycheck helps, the paychecks people are getting, the furlough scheme here in the UK, the extra unemployment benefit from the federal government. This is all to make people not want to go to work, to think that they're owed something by the state. Yeah, the state has bailed out the very rich two times now, in '08 and now. And I can understand why people feel like that. But I would say two wrongs don't make a right. But be as it may, that's what they want. They want people dependent. And that's why, if you can, I would try avoid taking any of the money from governments, any of their cheap loans or support, business support. I would rather not do business than have to have support from government. Yeah, UBI. And I think that's the whole thing about socialism, communism. And you might say, oh, we have free market capitalism. But no, the big bankers, they don't like free market. A lot of the banks were they financed the Bolshevik Revolution. I think the Soviet Union was the first experiment in the socialism and communism. Didn't work well, right? But people have a short memory. Low blood pressure says, I'm maxing out all credit and buying silver and never paying it back. Well, good luck with that low blood pressure. Good luck. Good luck with that strategy. I'm not dealing with the bankers. There's nothing wrong with silver, but I wouldn't. If you can, you never. And they'll come after you. That's for sure. If you owe them money. Back off the mic a bit. You're popping it. Okay. Sorry about that. Sophie says, "Low the privilege of choosing not to take the government handouts." Well, there are a lot of people who don't need to. People who have been cautious and who have saved, who have not gotten into debt. So it's not a privilege, really. It's just common sense and people who've been careful. So yeah, I don't think it's privilege. Privilege is people thinking that they're owed a living by the government. That's what privilege is, because government doesn't have any money. Uh, where do you think they take the money from? From you, and from your neighbors, and from your family members, from other friends. That's who they take the money from. Pop filter from Amazon. Okay, I will look into that. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I wouldn't buy metals on credit or anything for that matter. Uh, you see, no, those are the people who have privilege now because they're careful. You see, I'm gonna put a link here to an article actually that was sent to me by one of the viewers. Uh, a little depressing. It's from a economics professor at City University in London. And the title is People and Jobs or Wealth. The government has to decide which to prioritize, and there's only one right answer. It's more for the UK economy, but I think it applies to other countries as well. Here's the link. I highly recommend that article. It's from May 6th, earlier this year. I hadn't seen it. I think it's really interesting. Tony Vega, you mentioned last week to put your fiat currency into precious metals or tangibles to safeguard yourself out of the system. What are examples of tangibles? Well, anything that you can hold on to. If you have, your property, real estate, unencumbered by debt. That's tangible. Your phone is a tangible. Your car is a tangible. Fine wine is a tangible. Art, jewelry, land. Yeah, anything you can touch. Not anything that someone doesn't hold for you, and like a financial institution. Anything that's a promise on paper, that's not tangible. I hope that explains that to you. What of Russia Reserve? What's of Russia Reserve? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Fredo. Cupid stunt. What do you think of Judy Shelton? Nah, I think it's just a distraction. I think it's Trump trying to get some political kudos from his, how can I say, Tea Party supporters. Trump will never bring back a gold standard. Uh, I don't think, and as I've said, we don't need a gold standard. We need to go back to a non-central banking system. We need to go back to the market and let people use what they think is the best money. And usually it's gold and silver. I don't see Trump going that route. I mean, and I've seen that Judy Shelton promised the senators that she wasn't into that anymore. She also said she's not against the Fed anymore. So yeah, I don't really read much into her nomination. I'm not sure if she's been confirmed yet. What do you expect Wednesday from the Fed? I didn't even know they were going to meet. I don't know. They're not. They're probably just going to say that they're going to keep rates low for a long time, which is forward guidance. I guess there will be some speculation about yield curve control, which is keeping yields under control or low. And maybe, yeah, I don't think they're going to cut rates. They're going to leave rates at they're at 0.1, I think, almost zero. What do you expect? Yeah, so that's it, Pad. I didn't even know they're meeting. I thought their meeting was, yeah, it's gone quickly, 6 weeks. It's every 6 weeks. I don't think that usually precious metals trade a little lower just during or just prior to the meeting, and then they rally after the meeting. I don't know if that will happen. I think precious metals closed last week really positively, so they should continue higher. Longer term, they're very bullish, but day to day, they could do anything. We could see gold go back down to 1825, which in my view is kind of like a breakout. Silver could retest 21, but that would just give an opportunity for traders. I think for people buying the real thing, it's getting more and more expensive, and moves in the paper market are not going to make much difference for stackers. Pat, I don't, to be honest, I don't trust any politician from any side of the aisle anywhere in the world. The only time I voted, I think, was in the local election in the UK, which is really not that important. Mr. Guppy, there is no coin shortage in the UK. I think in the US is probably they're trying to get people away from using cash. That's all it is, I think. In the UK, I think people are using a lot more their debit cards. I do use cash sometimes, but I use cards as well. Purple Girl, are you concerned about central bank digital coin? No, because it's not any better or worse than what we have now. So I'm just concerned about central banks. So yeah. We have to get rid of central banks. Matthew, no point in a gold backed currency when the trust is gone. I agree. It might help them for a while, but I wouldn't trust their currencies ever. Not as the way the political system is set up. Uh, Gold retracement incoming. I don't know. I mean, as I said, it could, in the short term, anything's possible, but on a monthly basis, it looks very good. And if you look at the gold chart in a logarithmic scale, there's a lot of room on the upside. $200 up now is not that much. It's like just over 10%. And yeah, we've seen gold make moves of 30% quite easily in months. Ruth, do you think central banks will end up owning everything? Businesses own, this will lead to central planning and communism. Yeah, that could definitely happen. I mean, that's what the big banks want. Uh, that's what Rockefeller like. He loved monopolies. They want to own everything. So I think it's not really, from what I've learned talking to Alan, it's the people who own the central banks who are going to own everything. So you have to think more of the people behind the big international banks. Those are the people that are going to own everything, and I think you know who they are. Uh, Lucid Chronicles. How can we buy things online with gold and silver? Well, there is an app called Glint that gives you a MasterCard. So you can use that card and actually spend gold online or in a shop. But gold, for example, if you're not going to do that, use Glint. Gold, I would say, is more of a savings instrument. But of course, it has been currency in the past, but it's also very easy to sell into fiat currency. So yeah, if you've accumulated gold over the years and you want to spend it, the easiest way really is to sell it and put it into fiat. A Glint lets you do that. So Glint app, I even have a referral code. I'll give it to you, Mario Glint 79. So yeah, and it's a Glint A. There you go. Sorry, it's Glint. Okay. I'm sure there are other services out there, but that's the one that I have the referral code for. They approached me almost 2 years ago because they used to watch my videos. Yeah, that's right. But then to try not to spend your gold, that's the last resort, or your silver as well. I have a little bit of gold in my Glint card. I haven't spent it. Sometimes I do. Raymondo, I taken my stocks out and got some gold and silver and left a sizable chunk in fiat to use on projects. Should I get more metals after that? Um, it's I think what you've done is good. So who am I to say? Stick to your projects as well. Gold and silver are only money. Sometimes you have to put them to work. Are you worried at all? People know your real name uh, from showing yourself on YouTube. No, I'm not. Why should I be worried? I'm not worried about it. Um, I think that's the only way to be. You have to tell people who you are. I don't really like YouTube channels. People hide behind their identity. They're not as credible. Not worried. Gur OG sold 4 gold coins to buy a veteran car. Pablo Pina. I think it was really Chavez who sold a lot of the gold. He got the gold back in 2011 from the Bank of England. They actually were able to take out 100 tons. So I don't think it was Maduro. Maybe he did spend some of it, but Chavez got the ball rolling. Yeah, Ruth, that's right. Ruth is seeing more as people advertising for cash for gold. Yeah, that was quite big back after the '08 crisis. Yeah, that's going to start because it's picking up the price. Well, the pound is dropping quite a bit. We made a new all-time high in the price of gold in pounds this week. What do you think of companies that offer storage of precious metals? Purchase from them. Uh, I have one that I work with. Well, yeah, I work with because viewers ask me for ideas of where to get gold, and that's Gold Investments. They store your metal for you. Of course, there is a counterparty risk there, but it's insured in your name. They've been in business for 40 years, and they're a reputable dealer. So, yeah, you got to do your homework though. So yeah, gold investments, I recommend them, and there are others as well who are probably just as good, but that's the one I know of. Ed Michael, thank you for what you do. What is to stop governments coming up with a new system that would make gold unless therefore worth much less? I'm not sure. Do you mean would make gold illegal? Make gold useless? Uh, what could make gold useless? I can't think of anything that would make it useless. It's been useful for thousands of years. If governments were that clever, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are right now. So I'm not worried about that. And even if they do, then they do. We can't guarantee everything 100%. Mr. Guppy, in the '70s, Comex closed all opening trades as silver shot up. Are you preparing your viewers that this could happen again? Well, the first thing, it was in 1980. It was when the Hunt brothers were buying a lot of silver. And the Hunt brothers, just to let you know, they started buying silver back in the early '70s because they couldn't buy gold. And they knew when Nixon closed the gold window that they would need a real money. So they were accumulating gold for almost a decade. And yeah, they got a bit out of hand, I would say, in 1980. So that's what brought the price of silver down. But I don't recommend my viewers to trade silver on Comex. I recommend them to hold physical silver. And even though silver came down from like 50 to, I don't know, in 1980, 20 or 10, if you'd been buying in the early '70s, you'd still be doing well. So yeah, I'm not really concerned about Comex because I don't advise any of my viewers to get involved in the Crimex, as some other would call it, and I would call it too. Should we work for silver payment rather than fiat? That would be great, Joseph. Up until 1964, you had silver coinage in the US, 90%. So even your parents or grandparents, they got paid technically in silver. So here in the UK until I think it was 1946. After after the war, people used to get paid in silver. Uh, Up until 1919, all the coinage was sterling silver. So silver is money. It would be great if it came back, and people will get used to it, to silver coins. Shane Lackey, inflation is a red herring. Is it gold, silver? Nope. Inflation is 100%, has been since 1971. You got me too. House prices continue to increase in Europe? No, I don't think so. Read this article here. I put the link here earlier. I think this should explain to you what's going to happen or what could happen. I don't think the prospects for the property market are good. I think prices are not realistic anymore. Silver bullion from eBay. I've bought silver and gold from eBay, not regularly, but for example, I bought this. This is a florin, a UK sterling coin, 1915. I bought it from eBay. It's a numismatic though, beautiful coin. So yeah, that's a florin. Um, I got it from eBay. There's no problem. If you, unless you buy it from an account that's only done one transaction, but you need to make sure that people are reputable. I've been dealing on eBay, well, for almost 20 years. Don't know when eBay started, but it used to be a lot better. I think I used to sell a few things on eBay, but not anymore. Well, once in a while. What is the Comex and why doesn't it matter? Well, Comex is the futures market where people trade gold and silver futures. Um, it still does matter, but hopefully it won't matter as much. It's where the bullion banks. Uh, it's the bullion banks U.S. arm. The European arm is in London, the LBMA, which is a physical market. And they use these two markets, the futures and the LBMA, to control the gold and silver price. Hopefully, they will lose control. It doesn't really trade physical gold, even though since March, there's been a lot of gold being taken out of through the COMEX. So that might be the end of COMEX because it's not supposed to be a physical market, even though they tell people that it is. But I think the bullion banks are becoming less and less active on COMEX. So if you're a small investor and you want to buy precious metals, don't worry about COMEX. Go to a local coin dealer or bullion dealer. COMEX is no, it's just where people use. Yeah, it's a speculative market, highly leveraged paper market. It's part of the CME group. What is the risk if I trade crypto and take the profits and buy gold and silver? Would you still advise against crypto? I don't think there's a problem of selling cryptos for precious metals. I have had cryptos. I still have some now. Uh, I think if you're going to get involved in cryptos, though, you need to be really on top of things because today, for example, I had some altcoins that I wanted to put into Bitcoin to put it into like a Wirex card. And I went into Binance, the exchange. And I have to tell you, it was hard to do the withdrawal because they give you a minute to put in all these codes. One from your phone, one from your email, one from your authenticator. So, can you imagine someone that's older than me or even younger who doesn't have any experience with this technology? It's very complicated, and crypto is very speculative, but I think it's very complicated unless you stay on top of it. I wouldn't advise my mom or my sisters to buy cryptos to get a crypto wallet because, yeah, I wouldn't. It's much easier just to buy one of these. Not to say that if you can and you are on top of the technological things, all the updates, wallet updates, that's fine. Do you see any confiscation or massive taxation taking place UK, EU regarding precious metals? Uh, in the UK, I don't think so, because unless they change through an act of parliament, the sovereign and the gold sovereign or Britannia, they're coins of the realm, they're legal tender, so we cannot tax um, legal tender. In the EU, the same thing. If you're in France, if you buy French gold coins, I don't think they'll be able to tax you capital gains. It's only if you are in a certain country and you buy coins from another country or bars. So that's why you should always have the coins of the realm. I don't think they will do confiscation. Not in the UK. They might limit the amount of sovereigns you can buy, but I don't think they'll confiscate. They've done that in the past, limiting, maybe in Europe as well. But if you have it already, you're fine. I'm not saying you should go out there and get it because they're going to do that. It's just a possibility. John Meyer, home prices could rise nominally, but the currency by which is, yeah, you're right, John, about that. BC Joey, do you think HSBC will be banned by China? Banned from what? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So I think they're quite big. I mean, it is a UK bank, but it's also a Hong Kong bank, which is part of China. Not sure they will be banned. Banned from what? Doing business in China? Maybe. Silverform thinks they will come after pensions and 401ks before metals. Is lower in industry activity inflationary? I think it would be, especially while people are still getting paychecks, while people are at home not working. There's less supply of stuff. PI, would Philharmonics be the coin of the realm for the whole of Europe? No, I think you need to look at each individual European country. I think, isn't Philharmonic Austrian? So it would be coin of the realm in Austria. Hi, full of hope. I did my second video today about William Cobbett. Thank you for the heads up. I really enjoy reading his letters. Blunt news: Bit CP pawn. I don't know what that means. John Meyer says thanks for all your effort put in, Mario. Buy yourself another Britannia. So thank you, John. Or I'll buy Billy some bones. Yeah, I think the Britannia is around 25 to 30 pounds to buy. That's right. So that should do 30 euros. Alan Meyer, is 400 silver ounces okay for what's coming? Um, yeah, I mean, some people think silver could go into the hundreds of dollars. So, yeah, 400 ounces, I think it would protect you. Of course, it depends on your style or style of living. If you're a jet setter, no, of course. But if you live a normal life, it should be okay. Platinum or palladium, I don't really follow those two. I follow more the monetary metals. So I couldn't say, Victor. I'm sorry, but they're good, both good, I would say as well. You're welcome, Jim Wolf. Yeah, Butchie, the Britannia as well for the UK. They're coins of the realm, so the sale you wouldn't pay capital gains either on those. David Bradley says I need a new driver. Actually, David, I got a new 3-wood and I'm using my 3-wood and I hit it better than my driver actually, and I get almost as, if not sometimes more distance. So I'm not gonna get a new driver. I got one last year and I'm not really too happy with it. Maverick, yeah, I heard of those. There's too many golf clubs coming out. They do too many models. Johnny OC, my pension was switched to self-invested and is in profit for the year as there is a silver ETF in there. Good. Well, I mean, the silver ETF at the moment, if you've got the profit, it's fine. Um, if you're if you're 55 or over, I guess you can try to take some out and buy the real silver with it. Why do they put VAT on silver? Probably because they don't want people, the small people, protecting themselves against inflation, to discourage that, I would say. And gold is more of the elite's money. Not saying that I'm an elite, but not everyone can afford to buy gold. But you could afford to get silver, but it puts people off the VAT. That's my view on that. Some people could argue because it's more of an industrial metal, but I think it's the former. How do we end the Fed? Well, it was created by an act of Congress, so only an act of Congress will repeal it, the Federal Reserve Act. So there you go, through the politics, unfortunately, or through other means. There are other means. I'm not going to mention the other means here, but you probably know what I mean. That's right, spare dime, only physical. You could SIP your SIP is the self-invested pension. You could SIP, put physical silver and gold in your SIP. Gold investments can do that for you if you want. Yeah, the person who said they've made 40% on the silver ETF. It is SIPable. You can, yeah, gold investments do SIP. If you want to look into it, use my promo code as well, Monaco64, if you're going to have a word with Oliver Temple about that. Velocity of money. Well, M2 velocity is heavily affected by excess reserves that banks hold at the Federal Reserve. And prior to the '08 crisis, there was rarely any excess reserve. So if you take out the excess reserves, M2 money supply supply velocity is actually quite high. And I think M2 is growing quite a bit right now. So it's not something that I really think is that important, uh, even though a lot of people follow it. But I think you need to strip out the excess reserves, because if you look at M2 money supply chart from the St. Louis Fed, it's dropped a lot since '08 when the banks started building reserves at the Fed. Spare Dime says nothing against gold, but silver is just right for me. That's right. I mean, I've got, I like both. Full of Hope says thumbs up. James Samuels, why does everybody have to pay taxes when the government creates currency out of thin air? Well, because if they didn't, the currency would have no value. So there you go. The video I did earlier today talks about that. It's if you look at my earlier video from today, it's about paper against gold, uh, funds, the national debt, and stocks. It was written in 1810, and it explains why. Because if you issue a currency out of thin air, it has you have to you lend it into existence. So investors will lend the government the money, and the government has to guarantee that they're going to earn an interest. Where do they get the interest from? From you, from taxing you. So that's the only way. If they stop taxation, the currency created out of thin air would become worthless. Even though it has lost value over the years a lot, it would lose value even quicker. That's why they have to tax you. That's the dirty secret they don't want you to know. Because the bankers, it basically mortgages. You are a mortgage. Your tax dollar or tax pound is a mortgage that keeps the value of the currency. So with much taxes, your currency is worth a lot. Not necessarily, but you look at countries that didn't have a very good tax system, like Italy before the euro. Their currency wasn't very strong. The lira was a very weak currency. You look at the emerging market countries, a lot of those countries, the very few people pay tax. Their currencies aren't that great. I'm not saying that I agree with taxes, but that's why they do it. The best thing would be to have very small government and let people interact in the free market. It's very simple. Government, I think, should maybe be there just to administer the rule of law, and that's it. Saudi Arabia has no income tax. Well, probably because they have a lot of oil revenues, but they've got a lot of debt right now. Credit card companies declining precious metals purchases. I can't tell you about that because I've never bought uh, metals on credit. Golden Gate, talking about the Federal Reserve, uh, no backing but paper and the law. That's right. And the law is what allows the government to tax you. They used to have gold backing until 1968. I think it was 20% cover. Justin Timber, where will the ruble, you mean the Russian currency, down like any other fiat currency versus gold, of course. Blunt news, gold buys you less today than it did 10 years ago, even in Venezuela. Why do gold bugs ignore this? Um, Less of what? Blunt news. I'm not sure. I mean, gold has averaged 10% gain uh, in all the major currencies every year since 2001, on average 10%. So I'm not sure how you can say that. I mean, one sovereign. Oh, you're talking about, okay, 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago, we were 2010. Gold was around 1400 or even less, uh, 11, 1200. We're now 1900. I think in pounds it was 700. Uh, so now it's 1500. I'm not too sure. I mean, maybe if you bought at the top, all the gold you ever bought was in September, in 2011 and 1900. Yeah. But if you've been doing it since 2015, you're doing well. If you've been doing since the beginning of the century, you're doing well. And I think a lot of Venezuelans would like to have some precious metals. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. A good crypto wallet. I mean, there's so many of them. I'm not sure. I mean, for my, I have some Bitcoin. I use blockchain.info, but it all changes so quickly. You need to do your own homework, or the hard wallets. Yeah, look into the hard wallets as well. What does the collapse look like? Well, I think we're seeing it already. The real Scott. Yes, they've been able to kind of dampen the crisis with all the government help, with all the government loans and guarantees. But from what I read, especially here in the UK, this is not going to last forever. So the crisis is going to look like it was going to be uh, a lot of higher prices for the things you need, a lot of unemployment. Yeah, the currency going down like it is now, the debt going up, government trying to tax whoever's working. So I think that's what it's going to look like, unfortunately. And there's still a lot of uncertainty pertaining to the health crisis. I saw that yesterday. Uh, the government here announced that anyone who's gone to Spain on holidays, if they come back from today, they're going to have to isolate for 2 weeks. So there's all these wild cards out there. I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. And I don't know if you saw, I put this link already twice. I recommend that you read this. That will hopefully tell you a little more about what the crisis could look like here in the UK. That article there, Naked Capitalism. Here, they've made masks. You have to wear masks when you go shopping here, but uh, uh, apparently, not everyone is wearing it, and the shops can't are saying they're not going to enforce it. Yeah, they are talking about gloves as well. Hi, Tim Jones. Billy Airways shares. Yeah, Billy's over here. Actually, he's behind me. Oh, he's jumped off. Actually, he was on the sofa, but he's jumped off. Uh, Catman 734. I haven't worn a face mask yet. Uh, no, I haven't. I haven't really gone to too many shops since the 24th. There is a little shop near where I live. I go. I know the guy there. I walked in. He didn't say a word. No mask. Um, yeah, I'm not really. And I've heard that a lot of the big supermarkets here are not enforcing it. I think what you'll have is a lot of people look at you and try to shame you, as they say, but you just ignore them. I agree, June 12th, 1776, with what you were saying about masks. And even the scientists like Fauci and politicians like the transport secretary here in the UK said a month ago that masks are not really proven to help that much, but that they're just a symbol. And why weren't we wearing it in March when it all started? Matthew Matthews saying how his grandfather owned oh, earned £3 a week, which is three sovereigns. The money seems confusing. £1 was actually not 240. £1 was 240 pence. So no, it's not confusing. And then you had a shilling was 12p. So you had 20 shillings in the pound. It was just that instead of a pound being 100 pennies or pence, it was 240 pence. You don't have that right there. It's not a pound was £2 40. No, a pound was 240 pence. Yeah, I've heard of scenario lockstep, and I'm not surprised. I mean, it's all part of the Great Reset, the World Economic Forum. I've spoken about that. I've made videos about that a few months ago. That's what they want to bring in, but it's not. Hopefully, they won't succeed. Hopefully, people will wake up. Full of Hope says, as a food gardener, I heard that unsolicited seeds are arriving from China to individuals. It is believed that they are not good and should be microwaved to kill them. Yeah, I wouldn't accept anything that I received for free from anyone. James Samuels, I agree. It's not just the central banks, the whole system, the banking system. Yeah, the central banks part of it. Very few people understand the mechanism. That's why I do my videos. I know I don't have a huge following, but every person I'm able to inform every day is one more person, and then you hopefully get some network effect. Sander 81 about the masks in Holland. Uh, Tim Jones thinks we're screwed. Book of Revelation speaks of what is coming. Mark of the Beast. The Bible has a lot of really good points, but you read books like novels and like about history, and people are always saying these things, the book of Revelation. And I guess there are cycles, and that is possible, but I think the Bible also says that it won't last that long. So if we can survive through it. Thank you, Spare Dime. Cookie the Cat from Northeast Texas. All right. That's like Texarkana, isn't it? I think Northeast Texas. Gur OG thinks September will be mayhem. Yeah, John Meyer. Yeah, I've never been to Texas. I've been to a few other states, but yeah, I wouldn't mind going to Texas either. Very windy. Everything's big there too, so I heard. You're welcome. Remember WWG1WGA. More gold or more silver? Um, Probably a bit more silver, because silver will uh, usually outperforms gold in the precious metals bull market. I haven't watched that Peter Schiff interview on Fox. I saw the thumbnail. I might have to watch it. Yeah, there would definitely be a banking collapse before a currency reset. The article I've posted here, you can scroll through. 85% of bank assets in the UK are property related, so commercial and private real estate. So the banks are not in good shape. Johnny OC, are you aware of the late stimulus announcement for USA? Another. Actually, I was reading this morning on the Wall Street Journal that they're still negotiating, and they're expected to have a deal after the end of the first week of August. I don't know if something's come out now, but what I've read is that the House Democrats, they've got a bill for 3.5 trillion, and the Senate Republicans have 1 trillion. So I think we're going to get probably about 2 trillion in more stimulus. I didn't see that. So I didn't see that it came out already. I thought they were still negotiating. So this is news for me. Let me see here. Yeah, no, nothing's been done yet. It says here Republicans to release opening bid on stimulus after weekend talks. Um, yeah, nothing's been set in stone yet. So, and I think technically jobless help ends on the 31st of July, the $600 a week. But de facto, it actually ends today because of the way the states pay the benefits. So, yeah, there is a danger that people could be without money for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Who knows? All right, I'll take a few more questions and then we've reached an hour here. So that's usually how long we go for. Butchie Harding, more excitement this year than the past 10. Okay, Henry Bum, how do I spend my physical silver and gold in a government digital currency world? Well, you sell it to a dealer and then he will credit your digital currency account. That's how you do it, Henry. Pay mortgage or buy precious metals. I would do both. Try to do both. Just one more question here. All right, that's it then. Thank you, everyone, for showing up for the live stream. I wish you all a great rest of the weekend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow and next week. Take care.